and welcome to Studio E. I'm your host, Samia Vilefort. On today's show, we visit a fashion designer in San Rafael, Atousa G. She created a line of hats. San Jose is celebrating Music Day. We will check what events the capital of Silicon Valley is hosting this month. And speaking of June, the San Francisco AIDS Foundation and the Los Angeles LGBT Center co-produced the AIDS Life Cycle. The 7-day event raises awareness about the ongoing HIV/AIDS epidemic and funds services for HIV testing, prevention, and care. More than 3,000 cyclists and volunteers took the 545 miles from San Francisco to LA. More than 3,000 cyclists and volunteers took the 545 miles from San Francisco to LA. Together, they raised almost $18 million. Well, this is amazing. One of the cyclists is Jeff Freitas, who is the president at CFT, a union of educators and classified professionals. Jeff joined the group for a good cause, and he is my guest. Hi, Jeff. First, Jeff, I want to congratulate you on your second year writing, and thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much, and thanks for the support that you're sharing here.
Jeff, why did you decide to join the AIDS Life Cycle?
Oh, for multiple reasons. One, I know people that I've lost over the last many years due to HIV and AIDS. Two, to raise awareness that we're still fighting this deadly disease, and it's less deadly now, but we're still fighting it. And three, basically awareness about the LGBTQIA community and raise awareness and the issues that we fight for in our communities and our communities of color that overlap with LGBTQIA.
And how did you prepare yourself for this ride, Jeff?
There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of bike riding, either by myself or with teams. So I'm on a team called Smiley, and we try to get together about every Saturday for the last, say, 8 months. And then we would slowly do long rides. We'd start out with a 20-mile ride and then, build all the way up. And they had a 100-mile ride, but I had to work that weekend, so I wasn't able to join. But there were other teams in Sacramento that we come together and we join. And then you just try to go out and do it on your own as well. After work, go to spin class just as much as you can. It's called seat time. As much seat time as possible.
And can you tell me more about your experiences on the 545 miles trip, actually?
Absolutely. It started out with rain, and it rained probably the first half of the day. On the very first day, it was one of the wettest rides I've been on ever. But it was kind of exhilarating. It was kind of like an example of the effort of those people that are struggling with HIV. And that by the end of the day, you're going to be done with this and you won't be struggling after that point. But those people that are living with HIV, that's an ongoing fight that they have, and they need to make sure that they take the right medication and do the right safe things. So those are the things. That was the first day. I would say the fourth day was the hardest day for me. It wasn't the longest. The second was the longest, but it was after 4 days of riding. We've been riding, I think, well over 300 miles by that time, and my body was just like, enough. But you just can't give up. You just don't want to give up, and you just want to keep riding for all the reasons that you got into it.
Was there any group that gave up in the middle of those 7 days that couldn't continue?
There are individual people there, and it's not a race. It's not a competition. They just want, it's about awareness and raising the vital funds for the two organizations that we support. So there are sweep cars, and what that means is if you're on the side of the road and you need help, maybe they'll help you with a flat tire, or they'll pick you up and they'll take you to the next stop, or even to the camp at the end of the day. So you don't have to finish every day. But there are people like me that we try to do every inch. There's another phrase for it, but I'll just keep it at every inch, and we try to ride every inch and every mile, and it means a lot. But again, the fundraising is what's most important about this, and the exercise, the riding the bike is just a symbol of what we're trying to do.
Wow, this is such a beautiful cause. I'm super happy that you guys are doing this. I wish I could have the strength to go with you guys, but I know I don't, but I'm here cheering for you guys. And all together, you guys raised almost $80 million. And how does that feel, Jeff?
It was very amazing. And on the very first day before we get out and get on our bikes, they announced how much we raised, and it was so much worth it. It was so worth it. All the work leading up to it, all the work during it, just to know that after 2 years of being shut down because of COVID, to be able to break their record and have the most riders possible. And as to your response to not being able to do it, I absolutely disagree. All different people are out there riding their bikes, and very much it's a can-do event. And I would encourage you to look into it, and maybe in a couple of years you could go out and
I'll try for sure. I love your sweater, by the way. Tell me about it.
Thank you. This is the sweater from 2019. So that was my previous sweater, Ride, Love, Live. That's what it's about. One of the things, you go out and ride, and during those 7 days, we call it a love bubble. And everybody is just joined together. You got the 2,000 riders, and you're communicating with each other, and you're supporting each other. And then you have the like 500 volunteers that are just helping you every day. They may be feeding you, helping you with water, being those drivers that pick you up. And so, that's the love part. And then the live, that's what this is about, being able to live our true selves and being able to continue to live. So that was 2019, similar logo, and it was just in blue in 2022. That's why I wore this today.
Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. On June 21st, many cities around the globe celebrate Music Day. A day not only for professional musicians to sing and to play a music instrument, but a day for amateurs to make music. Kerry Adams Hapner, director of the San Jose Office of Cultural Affairs, is my guest today. Kerry, thank you for joining us.
First of all, thank you. It's a pleasure to see you again. Great. Thank you for having me.
Last year, the event was hybrid. What about this year?
So last year was a hybrid, but this year is going to have a much greater emphasis on in-person programming, which we're really excited about, because that's part of our community healing, is bringing people back together away from social isolation. So I'm really excited to just go and see people jamming and participating in different parts of the event. And so I'm excited. There's some pretty cool highlights coming up, which I'd love to share with you, but it's really going to be a much more deliberate in-person event this year.
And that sounds so exciting. And the music day is for everyone, right?
Absolutely, for everyone, even me, who is a lifelong beginning flutist. Okay, so I love Make Music Day just for that reason, because the whole point of Make Music Day is to really emphasize the joy of making music, whether you're a beginner, you're trying something new for the first time, or if you're just experimenting with a new instrument, or whether you are a professional artist. So it's really, the emphasis is that anyone can be a musician and anywhere can be a venue. And that's really kind of the main point for this event in San Jose.
And what are you doing this year? Are you playing any instruments? I want to know.
This year, I'm going to travel around. I'm going to be go from place to place. That's the other cool thing about Make Music San Jose, is it happens citywide, and each different respective venue is going to host a series of different types of performances and activities. So I'm really just going to go and curate my own experience and drive from place to place. And if I see some really cool drumming and I can chime in, I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to play the flute. I'm a little bit out of practice, and that's why I'm a lifelong beginner, but I will definitely be out there. Maybe it'll be at the kazoo lesson.
Kerry, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, I would love just to share that Make Music San Jose happens annually on the summer solstice, which is always on June 21st. It just happens to be the longest day of the year. So it really is a great day for a big international festival like this. I'd also like to add some of the highlights I'm particularly excited about in 2022. Among them is Parque de los Pobladores in downtown San Jose's SOFA district. There's going to be a full day of terrific programming. Also at Mexican Heritage Plaza, there's going to be another day of full programming. And then also the Evergreen San Jose Public Library is doing some really cool things. And then we've even thrown out a invitation to all the city employees who are going to be performing in City Hall Plaza. And then we're just excited to welcome everybody and sign up or just make music on next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. We will be covering Music Day and bring the story to you later. I'm here with fashion designer Atousa G. Welcome to our show, Atousa.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Atousa, I know you have such a unique way of showing your fashion. And tell me, what is fashion for you?
Well, I've been doing fashion pretty much my whole life. I was born into it. My grandfather had a fashion house in Tehran, Iran, where I was born, and he used to dress royalty. My uncle was a big fashion designer of all places in Las Vegas, made fur coats for the gangsters. You know, he had the first fur shop in MGM, and I moved from Tehran to live with him in Las Vegas and grew up in the world of high fashion. So it's in my blood. And for me, fashion is about standing out, not blending in.
What is it? What is your style?
Background in club rave wear, which now is kind of turned into festival fashion. So it's for someone that can afford to travel and wants things that are a little bit nicer, things that you can't buy in any store, things you can't get online or really exclusive things. I dress a lot of celebrities and I dress a lot of artists that do stage work. So it's important for me to make them things that are special, and not many people have these items. So you are the only one in the room that has one of my pieces.
That's the difference from your hats. That, for example, this one, I love it because it's pink, and I think it's totally going to match with my clothes. Can I try it on?
Please.
Let me see.
This one is a lightweight, breathable hat. It's made for if you're going to Coachella, you're going to the desert, you're going to Burning Man. It's breathable.
Thank you.
It's not hot. It's
Look
lightweight.
at this.
I mean,
I love it. And I have a collection of hats, but I never had this type of hat. And it's super unique. And I love, how do we call these?
This is actually a beaded fringe. So I do different. This is a metal fringe. This is a beaded. It's kind of a native Navajo influence band. For my new collection, I'm doing a safari techno collection since I'm going to be doing a fashion show
Like this one
in the
and
Caribbean.
safari.
Yeah, so a lot of these are kind of like go with some of the trends in fashion. I love a leopard print.
But also, it's not just the hats. You also have this beautiful collection of outfits. Come with me. I want to show you all her beautiful collection. Atousa, now let's talk about your fashion style. I see that you have all these beautiful clothing that you came up with. Tell me, what inspired you when you came up with this beautiful dress?
So I started my a line called K, and that's a little bit more edgy, festival, nightclub kind of vibe. It's really fun. It's made for, events that you want to definitely get noticed in. And I did a lot of fun kind of quirky looks, things that are edgy and have, details in the back, details in the front, a little surprise element to it. And I have another brand, which is my signature brand. It's called Atousa G. And it's, suiting and higher end kind of clothing for women that work, have careers, they want to look good, but they still want to stand out, and they want something extra, a little luxury.
What I love most about Atousa that I've been paying attention is that her style is for every age, because we got a teenager could definitely pull this out, but also a woman in her 60s could completely pull this out, right?
Beauty.
That's what I really enjoy about your style.
65 years old that came in and she was like, oh my God, I love this jacket. She turned it out and said, oh my God, I have to have it.
There's a dress here that I am so in love that I definitely want to try it out, because it's totally a red carpet dress for me, but I can also pull it out with a jeans jacket, I think. Look at this pants. Wow. This is totally for you.
It's an ombre coated denim on the top. It has a very unique look. And this is, you know, something different.
Let me see this. Wow, this is gorgeous. Isn't it gorgeous? So different and unique. Gladson, this is totally you. I would love to see you in this pants. And you've been to Vogue magazine. Your clothes also been on Vogue, right?
I just got published in Vogue, Marie Claire, and Harper's Bazaar, all in the pandemic. So I really concentrated on stepping up my collection.
Thank you so much. So let's take this
for
beautiful
having
hat.
me. Check me out at AtousaG.com.
Can you say that again, please?
Check me out at Atousa G, ATOUSAG.com, or my Insta, ATOUSAG.
Thank you. Let's go in the back with our beautiful hats. That's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio E.